Oh, here we go. Hello, hello, Edo. Let's just say Edo. Kalimera, Kalispero. Every time you're watching, this is Mappa. I don't know what's been going on. For some reason, my mic has been playing up recently. But hey, we're here. We're here. Well, I'm here. Thassel's not here at the moment, unfortunately. He's on holiday. He deserves his holiday. He's still on holiday, which is all good. So I'm running the ship again, boys and girls. Don't know if you're going to like this or not, in all fairness. But hey, it is what it is. I'm not going to apologize for having to continue doing this pod. I love doing this pod. I love doing This Is Mappa. And I hope people that are watching live enjoy it too. So, before I begin, quick housekeeping. I've been doing a lot of housework the last couple of days. Anyway, what am I talking about? I need to stop drinking so much coffee. We got an Instagram and an X account at This Is Mappa. So don't forget to give us a follow. Visit our website, www.nc-network.com. Now, we've got loads to go through today, but not as much as last week. So I'm hoping this won't take forever. So I'm going to start with the news that broke yesterday from our league. And lo and behold, guys, would you Adam and Eve it? The Cypriot FA Board of Directors decided unanimously not to proceed with the change in the proclamation of the championship for the season, which means away fans are back. Yep, away fans are allowed back in the stadium. And they gave a statement. And they said, the board of directors of the CFA expresses its readiness in cooperation with the clubs to support every effort to deal with and limit the phenomenon of violence in the stadiums. The board of directors amended the disciplinary regulations in such a way that penalties that will be imposed where and when there are phenomena of violence or events that cause issues. And they've collaborated with UEFA and they're planning a new series of training seminars with experts from the European Federation in Cyprus with the aim of upholding the institution of stadium monitors to assist the work of the police. So there you go, guys. They're actually doing something. They're going to improve the CCTV footage so we can see now in 4K, hopefully, who throws fireworks at players like last season, who sets off fire extinguishers like last season, who throws flares at other fans like last season. My goodness, the safety element is back. But what they've also done is they've implemented more disciplinary regulations in the form of fines. So here we go. Article 10.2. I mean, it's carry on. I'm going to show you. I'm not going to do all of them in detail, but one of them is entry or attempt to enter the pitch is going to be a €10,000 fine and a 1-match ban for the supporter, which I can know 1 minute for the club, one match ban for the club. Away fans, lovely, excellent. Let's have a look. There's some more. I mean, it's all on our Twitter page or our X page. But here we go. Throwing objects onto the pitch is a €2,000 fine. And in case of more than 4 convictions, flipping out, it's crazy. It's crazy. They're going to ban fans for 1 game. Here we go. For trafficking and or possession of dangerous objects, a minimum fine of €6,000. For setting off sparklers, or should I say, what's it called? Fireworks, €6,000 fine. So it's all on our Instagram, on our Twitter page. I can't even get my words out today. I'm fucking half asleep. Sorry, guys. So yeah, there's a whole bag of stuff going on in Cyprus, which I guess is positive, given the fact that we've had a lot of issues with fan violence, a lot. And it's been getting worse. It's been getting worse. You know, as I said, last season we had the issue at Salamina where one of the players was hit with a firecracker. We had the issue with APOEL and Apollon where a flare ended up in the Apollon end, almost hitting a kid. There's been a lot of things. I mean, I remember last season in the cup game between Anorthosis and Omonoia, the Omonoia fans didn't go into the stadium. They watched it on a big screen outside the stadium and they threw a flare into the stadium, which landed on the pitch. So these things happen in Cyprus. And I'm glad that the CFA have decided to do something about it. Whether or not they stick with these laws or these rules is another thing, because we know the reputation of Cyprus isn't great, and we know that sometimes things get swept under the carpet. So let's see. Continue what this season, me and Thas are going to have a field day with all of these, and fortunately we've got all the rules and the regulations and the fines listed, so it's going to be a compare and contrast situation, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to move on to transfers, right? And Karmiotissa, I think Karmiotissa needs to have their own podcast. I think we'll call it Keep It in the Family. They've gone transfer crazy this summer. Since last Wednesday, they've added a further 6 players to the squad. So Georgian winger Mate Kvirkia, I can't even pronounce his name, sorry guys. He signed on a free from a team in Azerbaijan called Kapaz PFK. Now, incidentally, Kapaz play at the Ganja City Stadium. I love it. Ganja City Stadium. Afroman is going to be there, isn't he? Because I got high and all that. Now, another winger has joined the club, Christos Yusis. He comes on a free from Dutch side Telstar. He was also part of Ajax Athens, their title-winning team of 2018. Striker Andreas Costandino leaves Apollon's academy to team up with former Apollon head coach Sofronis Avousti. And another Apollon academy player has signed for Karmiotissa, 20-year-old Mario Avousti. Now, does that name sound familiar? Well, his dad is the head coach of Karmiotissa. There you go. And finally, the Dimos Henos twins, Rafael and Stavro, have signed from Aris, and they're also the sons of the club president. Nepotism doesn't exist in Cyprus. It doesn't. Players join club on merit and on ability, not who their dad is or who their uncle is or who their agent knows. I don't know. Anyway, on to the next before I completely put my foot in it even more. And AEK Larnaca celebrated their 30th birthday last week and recently announced the signing of 21-year-old Venezuelan winger Yerson Cachon. He has 1 cap for the national team, having played a 5-minute cameo in their 4 win over Bolivia in 2022. He's joined on a 1-year loan deal. And AEK face Hungarian side Pax on Thursday in their Conference League qualifier. If they go through, they'll face either Radniki of Serbia or Mornar of Montenegro. Happy days. There you go. And AEK seems to be very, very well prepared for the coming season. They've made a lot of signings. They've got a new head coach, but they're doing things on the hush. Seems to be like the calm before the storm with this club, but they haven't made any like big signings. So I'm guessing that's kind of like their thing now. They're not going to go balls deep on household names, so to speak. And they've got a coach that is focusing on development, which is a good thing. Right, speaking of a good thing, APOEL, with Chris Coleman at the helm, have made a new signing. Yes, they have signed Israeli attacking midfielder Aviv Avraham from Maccabi Netanyahu. I don't even know. I can't even pronounce. Listen, I could just about pronounce English teams' names, let alone Cypriot and Israeli teams. Anyway, they've signed this lad on a 2-year deal. Fantastic. 2 years for this player. Don't know anything about him. I've tried looking online for something, can't find nothing. But anyway, one player who appears to be on his way out is Shithouse George Marsh. Now, according to Brathima.com, the former Wimbledon midfielder and his agent are negotiating a deal with APOEL to have his contract terminated. He wants out. In fact, the only thing George Marsh did at APOEL that we can even talk about is getting sent off against Aris and almost having a punch-up with Morgan Brown. And we're Team Morgan, yeah? You don't fuck with our guy. So, George, get the fuck out of here. We don't need you on the island. You can go back to Leyton Orient or Wimbledon or maybe go to Morecambe. I don't fuck knows. Don't know. Get out. Anyway, the next one. Happy days for Anorthosi are back. Happy days have returned. I told you, lot, all the Anorthosi fans that were sitting there worrying about their club, when you guys were going through your financial difficulties and the fans were raising €1 million to save the stadium, I said, don't worry, it'll be fine. And here we go. Not only have they announced the hiring of Christoforo Michailudi as head press officer. Michailudi, he left Ari at the end of last season, and he's somewhat of a this is Mappa legend, because a couple of years ago, he kind of powered through a post-match interview despite one of his players making chicken noises in the background. Let me see if I can bring it up.
Καλύτερα μειώνει τη διαφορά από την κόρυφη. Ευχαριστώ για τα συγχαρητήρια. Ήταν αυτή η νίκη πολύ σημαντική, διότι μετά την νίκη της ΑΕΚ...
There you go. Chicken noises. I don't know if you heard it, but there were chicken noises being made. Happy days. Happy days. So yeah, he's a bit of a this is Mappa legend. Anyway, staying with Anorthosi, and they've made 2 signings. The first is Novibet. They've replaced PhoneBet as the main sponsor. The deal is until 2027, and I'm pretty sure it's going to help the club's financial issues. I think it's more of a case of bringing in as many commercial deals as they possibly can to keep the club afloat, but they seem to be on the steady at the moment, which is good for them, and good luck to them, because it's a club with a lot of history. Anyway, the next signing is Matthias Poljarits. He signed a 2-year deal with the club. He was part of the historical Aris squad, which won the title 2 seasons ago. And we're Team Poljarits as well, because, you know, we've got a mate with that surname. Not going to say anything else. But anyway, happy days. Looks like happy days are coming back to Anorthosi. Anyway, let's move on to APOEL. Now, there's no transfer news this week, but their Champions League campaign began last night. They played against Petrocub, and they beat them 1-0. Believe it or not, it was from a penalty, and it was Marquinhos who netted from the spot. Serbian striker Drazic broke through, was brought down, stonewall penalty, and upstepped Marquinhos with the Bruno Fernandes type penalty. That's his style. He does it. And it's a good win for APOEL. Of course, they would have wanted more than 1 goal. They could have had more than 1 goal in the second half. Anyway, they had a lot of opportunities, but Petrocub kind of grew into the game. This is a game I watched for a lot of it anyway. I watched most of this game. And the opening half was practically all APOEL. Second half, Petrocub came into the game. They grew. They were more attacking. They had a couple shots from range. One of them was a good save from Belic. They almost came close near the end. Shot went just wide. But what I've noticed with Gallejo, the APOEL head coach, the difference between him and Sapinto is that he's not as pragmatic. And Thussell was at the game, and he wasn't happy with some of the players. I get it. The one thing I noticed most was the gap in between the 2 holding midfielders and the number 10. It was huge. The left back didn't bomb forward as much. Obviously, Suzic was getting forward, which is what he loves doing. But the one thing I will say is that you can criticize APOEL for having old players like Petrovic and Tejera. I get it. But when Dvali comes in or comes back from his break, that's going to be an extra body. I think Cipriano was good at the back. He looks a little bit ropey, to be honest, but he's inexperienced and he'll grow. Max Meyer came on and he looks like a player. He only played 8 minutes, but in those 8 minutes, he was direct. At one stage, he beat 3 players. You know, this is a very, very good player, and he's a very good player for our league. So let's see what they do in the second leg. Now, if they get through to the next round, they're going to play, what's that team? So they're playing Slovan Bratislava or Celje, which is a team from Slovenia, I think. But if they get knocked out, they'll play either Ferencvaros or TNS in the Europa League. So there you go. Anyway, now on to the big news, which we broke on our own Twitter page. And this is concerning Aris and Rangers central defender Connor Goldson. Now, thanks to @Rangers1937 on X or Twitter, who actually tagged us in a post that Goldson was getting on the plane to Cyprus. Now, we did a bit of digging, and as it turns out, Aris are interested in the player. In fact, Goldson was one of their targets 2 weeks ago. But then they turned their attention to a couple other players. But unfortunately, those deals didn't happen. They went back for Goldson. And as you'll probably see, it went crazy. It went bonkers on social media. In fact, we got over 130,000 views on that post. More to the point that it ended up in the tabloids. Ended up on various news sites. It went bigger than what I thought it would. In fact, that post went viral in Scotland, and 24 hours later, it ended up on 24 Sports, Super Sport, Gerkida, Brathlima. All the publications in Cyprus picked it up 24 hours later. And they credited the Scottish newspapers who took it from us. Don't take my word for it. Here you go. This is from the Daily Record. Conor Goldson, Rangers transfer hype escalates as sleuths unearth clues he's on his way to Aris Limassol. This was a very passive-aggressive headline. Very passive-aggressive, because they didn't believe it was going to happen. Once again, a lot of these journalists, especially this one, Robbie Copeland, I'm not going to shit on the guy too much, but do a search on his name on Twitter, and he's not a very popular person. Let's just put it that way. But again, they like to shit on people on social media and say, oh, well, these guys, they think they know what they're talking about. And here's the other thing that pissed me off. Look at this. Including the This Is Mappa. This is from that same article. Including the This Is Mappa podcast have jumped on the hype. Robbie, sorry, mate. We created the hype. Yeah? But if you look further down, the next paragraph, or the third paragraph as you're looking at it, that's an amended version on their website. And they put some in Cyprus, including the This Is Mappa podcast, have since dug into it and reported on the situation. Funny how they changed the terminology after we dug them out on it, but that's fine. I'll give them their flowers for amending it. But here's the thing, and I don't know how many Glasgow Rangers fans are watching this right now. I don't know what happened there. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened there. Sorry. Anyway, as I was saying, Glasgow Rangers fans, as far as I'm aware, it's a goer. Okay? So it's going to be one of those situations whereby it's not a matter of if, it's when it's going to happen. And that's fine. I've got no problem with it. You know, I've got no problem. Yeah, you did lose me. I don't know what happened there, bro. Honestly, it just kicked me out. Now, I don't know if there's someone in the background. Maybe it's Bedro. Maybe it's Bedro in the back. I can't see him. I thought it was Bedro in the background, like playing pranks on me or something. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. But anyway, sorry, just bring the slide back up. Flipping hell, what a day I'm having, man. I'm getting names wrong. I'm getting pronunciations wrong. God, thank goodness this isn't live in front of hundreds of people. That would have been fucking totally embarrassing. But yeah, it's a goer. And from what I understand, it's a matter of time before the deal is announced. I know the player has travelled back with the Rangers squad because they got friendly against Birmingham. As I understand, or from what I've been told, it's a matter of the lad just saying bye to his teammates and doing some last-minute training to build up his fitness. But yeah, the announcement could be made by the end of the week. Again, I don't know if it's a loan. I don't know if it's a permanent deal. You look on Transfermarkt, it's a 5 million valuation. Maybe Rangers value him less than that. Will Aris spend 1 million or 2 million or 3 million on him? I don't know. They have the money. They have the money. And then don't get it twisted. This isn't a club that doesn't have money. This doesn't have money. So, sorry, they do have money. Sorry, I'm just reading this message from Dimitri. Here we go. Stel, I remember you starting this 5th of August 22. Tom Rockets, 29-year-old Australian midfielder freed by Saturday this summer is poised to reunite. Yeah. Poised. There you go. But hey, Dimitri Moore, if you want to dig me out on things that I've got wrong, I'll gladly point out the things that I've got right. I'll gladly do it. But here's the fundamental difference, because as Omonoia, because Dimitri is an Omonoia fan, and it's been a very frustrating summer for Omonoia supporters, guys. For those of you that don't follow Cypriot football, Omonoia are supposedly one of the big clubs, but they don't behave like a big club, right? So they change managers, they change sporting directors, they change scouting teams, they have agents in bed with them, they have players that leak information to the press, they have players that go on strike. These players' parents get involved in situations. So there's loads of things. And then fans get upset. Fans get upset, which is understandable. But these are the same supporters that continue to buy season tickets and continue to buy merchandise. So they're feeding the animal. But then they complain that other people get information wrong on social media. Well, let's get it right. If you want to look at Omonoia's transfer rumors this summer, yeah, and Dimitri, you're a member, bro. You're a member. So you watch the members area podcast that I do. How many players have been linked with Omonoia this summer? I mean, I stopped doing player links at 16. Yeah. Since then, there's been at least another 9 players, at least. So that's 25 players that have been linked with Omonoia, and Omonoia have only signed 5. Yeah. And only 2 out of those 5 are going to be regulars. So you can have a go at me for getting transfer rumors wrong. Well, perhaps you should start looking at other people and start pointing the finger at the club that you support for letting you down. I'm not letting you down. I'm not letting you down. I'm just relaying information that I've been told. But I'll tell you what, if this Connor Goldson deal does get done, Dimitri Moore, no disrespect to you, I'm going to say this to everyone that's watching, for those that doubted, I'm going to have a field day, an utter field day. But anyway, you got me right there, man. Sorry. But anyway, going back to Ari, this is a club that has a shit ton of money, right? However which way you want to see it, they've been accused of laundering money. And if you go back to our interviews that we've done, we had Joel Damahu, the sporting director of the club. He laughed at it. He said, well, of course they're going to say it's money laundering, of course, because any president from abroad that comes to Cyprus that buys a club, immediately he's laundering his money when there's no evidence whatsoever. Is there any evidence of Fedorov laundering his money or making his money in a questionable way? There's another club in Cyprus that's also accused of laundering money. I'm not going to say anything on that. I'm not going to say anything about that. But anyway, Ari spent $500,000 on a brand new team bus. $500,000 just to take them from A to B. Yeah, and then B back to A. The furthest you're going to travel in Cyprus from Limassol is Nicosia, which is about 88 kilometers. They're serious. They're paying Kokorin close to $1 million a year. They're paying Kvilidaya close to $1 million a year. They've got players that are representing their national teams. Karol Strucki was called up to the Polish national team, and it was only because of an injury that he didn't play. If you look at Bambika, that joined from a club in, where was it? I can't remember. Guinea, I don't know, whichever country he's from. They signed this player for 65 grand. They sold him for 3 million. You're looking at a team like Ari that have got Vana Alves that won the Portuguese league title. You've got Kazu that won the Portuguese Cup with Braga. They brought in Bråsen a couple of years ago, the Swedish central defender that won titles with Malmo. They've signed Rosovic from Partizan Belgrade. That's one title. Gabon, sorry, Andreamu. Gabon, thank you. Right? So people that don't know about Cypriot football will look at Ari and they'll say, oh, they sound like a pharmaceutical company, or they sound like a chemical. And then they play Glasgow Rangers and they beat them at home, and yet they don't get the praise that they deserve. All I hear is, well, Glasgow Rangers were shit. And then when Glasgow Rangers brought in a new head coach and were doing well and gathered a bit of momentum and were picking up results in the league slowly, they faced Ari in the return game, and Ari ended up getting a point. And once again, oh, they should be beating this team in Cyprus. They should be beating this team from Cyprus because the Cypriot teams are shit. And then you look at that Ari squad, who at the time, Julius Zoke, come on, decent central midfielder. Bengtsson, that was highly rated in Sweden. Mayan Bella, that represents South Africa, the national team. The list goes on. So it's a team full of internationals. But yet they shit on them because they don't know them. That's fine. That's fine. It happens. It happens. But why would Connor Goldson leave Glasgow Rangers and come to Adi? People were saying, oh, he's having a medical with in Cyprus and it's for a Saudi club. Okay, that's realistic. It happens. But then you're hearing people you're reading people on social media or their posts saying, oh, we did a flight track and he's going to Beirut. Well, people in Cyprus that are watching now can attest to this. A lot of the GPS systems and the mobile phone systems in Cyprus are showing welcome to Beirut. Because of what's going on in a certain part of the world, certain systems are being messed around with. So you could say, yes, the plane that had Connor Goldson went to Beirut. It's probably because the GPS system was messed up because of what's going on in a certain part of the world, which is close to Cyprus, and a certain government are playing games with GPS systems. That's all I'm saying. Politics. And that is why Cyprus politically or geopolitically is in the best part of the world, because it's right by the Middle East, it's close to Russia, it's close to Africa. Yeah, that's why the island has been pillaged for years. But anyway, I'm not going to go into that. So Goldson could be an Ari player by the end of the week. And as I said, if it happens, L-O-fucking-L. Anyway, let's move on to another team whose transfer activity has been somewhat questionable this summer. And I'm saying this as an Omonoia supporter. Today, they've announced the one-year loan signing of Alioum. He was on loan at the club last season. They said, thank you, mate. You can go back to Hammarby. We don't need you. They couldn't find the right winger. They couldn't sign a right winger. So they went back to Alioum and they went to Hammarby and they said, sorry. Can we be friends again? We want him back on loan. And Hammarby said, okay, fine. So yeah, he's come back on loan, 1-year deal with an option to buy. Whether or not Papastavro wants to buy him or not is another thing. Whether or not Dambrauskas sees him. Well, mind you, I don't even know if Dambrauskas is going to be here next season at this rate. And another story that came out, Dimitri, how about this one, bro? I want you to gun down the person that broke this story. Omar Adzili. Yeah, former APOEL attacking midfielder is linked with Omonoia. This came out on 24 Sports. Now, I don't want this player, not because he used to play for APOEL, but this is a player that was accused of statutory rape. Yeah, a 15-year-old girl was allegedly raped by this player. And as the Israel News website or the article shows you here, the case was eventually dropped. But explosive text messages have resurfaced that question the player's claims and the decision not to prosecute them. Now, this was from a couple years ago. So I haven't found anything else online to say that it's been thrown out completely or it's ongoing. I don't know. I know the player was in Saudi Arabia. So if people are getting excited, and this is what happens. A lot of supporters, including Omonoia fans, especially recently Omonoia fans, get excited whenever a player gets linked with a club, but they don't do their due diligence and they don't look into the player and any stories. They just get excited because we were going to be signing someone. No. This guy was accused of raping a 15-year-old. Yeah. And even though here the case was eventually dropped, more evidence has come out and it's been swept under the carpet. But hey, this is the club that signed Amor last season. Google him and see what he was accused of and then what happened afterwards. Yeah. So yeah, gun me down for bringing a rumor to the table about Tom Rogic, and it ended up making various websites and the deal didn't happen for a reason that I cannot divulge. Yeah. But have a go at the club for wanting to sign accused rapists. Don't have a go at me. But hey, let's just take it out on Stel because you got our hopes up. Give over. Anyway, let's move on. FC Pafos, another club that is somewhat questionable. Anyway, they have made a signing. They signed Derek Lucassen. He signed from Maccabi Tel Aviv. He had spells at AZ Alkmaar, PSV Eindhoven, Anderlecht, Hertha Berlin, and a couple of clubs in Turkey. And leaving the club is Patrick Toumassi. He joins Beitar Jerusalem. Now, I don't know anything about Lucassen at all. He's got a very good CV, which is what a lot of clubs want in Cyprus. The CV is so important. The CV is so important, and they've decided to sign him. Good luck to him. Anyway, speaking of Pafos, unfortunately, I had a little bit of a technical problem, so I'm going to have to bring up the video again. Our mate there, so I'm going to fast forward it. Speaking of Pafos, and their Europa League campaign came to an end, came crashing down. They lost 5-2 at home, or should I say at the Alpha Mega, because it wasn't at the Kyriakidis Stadium, it was at the Alpha Mega. They lost 5-2 to Elfsborg, 8-2 on aggregate. Now, we know they had it all to do. They were walloped 3-0 in the first leg. And the writing was pretty much on the wall in the 15th minute when João Ferreira was sent off. Timothy Otuma gave Elfsborg the lead before an own goal from Sebastian Holman drew them level. Dragomir put Pafos 2-1 up. But Baidu, Balderson, Abdullahi, and Zanelli put the final nail in the coffin. Now, Pafos faced Lithuanian side Zalgiris in the Conference League on Thursday. And the winner will face Bulgarian side FC Seseka 1948 or Budokons Podogria of Montenegro. So there you go. Pafos will be in the Conference League. So we have 3 teams in the Conference League qualifiers. And let's see which one of the 3, or if any of the 3, get into the group stages. Because I'm not pinning my hopes on Omonoia. No chance. AEK, maybe. But they've got a difficult opponent. And maybe Pafos. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. Anyway, in other transfer news, here comes the fun part. More transfer news. And Ethnigo signed 25-year-old Brazilian winger Breno de Almeida Melo Santana. Yeah, try to say that after a few pints. I don't know. 25 years old, Brazilian winger. And this guy actually used to play in Malta before going back to Brazil. And we saw what happened the last time Ethnigo signed a player on loan that used to play in Malta. Yeah, he was pretty decent. So let's see what this Breno Santana is like. Anyway, Salamina, top left-hand corner. They've added another giant at the back, 32-year-old Lucas Acevedo. He's coming on a free from Adromido. He's like 6'3", 6'4". They've got Tomovic there as well. That's 6'1". Yeah, they're giants, aren't they? Flipping hell. Christos Wheeler. He's made somewhat of a controversial move. He's joined Omonoia Gossienia. Now, Wheeler was at APOEL for 4 years. Unfortunately, he picked up an injury last season, put him out for most of it. And the reason why I say it's controversial is because those 2 club supporters don't get on. They don't get on at all. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. And good luck to the lad. Good luck to him. I mean, he's won trophies before. Didn't he win a trophy at APOEL? I think he won a trophy at APOEL. He's got experience. He's played for the Cypriot national team. So, fingers crossed it goes well for the lad. And finally, Stiliano Vrondis has joined Omonoia Radipu on loan from APOEL. And there you go. There is your Cypriot news for the week, done in 34 minutes. Not bad. Now, I just want to clarify something, because last week I did a whole 20 minutes on Bayer. And those of you that don't remember or don't know, Bayer were very active on Instagram last week, to the point where they were digging out people, making serious allegations about board members. They put up their head coaches or the former head coach's phone number. A lot. I mean, throughout the week, they were putting screenshots of conversations between players or potential players. They even put up a photograph of an agent saying, "Be careful, he's a scammer." Honestly, they went balls deep. Now, from what I've been told by other people, the Bayer owner also used to own a club called Yeroskibble, and they did exactly the same thing on social media, accusing people of scamming, all that kind of stuff. As I said, I use the word accusation. Now, last week, prior to the story of Bayer, I was discussing unorthodoxy and the club takeover and how club takeovers happen in Cyprus and how people within clubs don't want the club to be sold, either because they lose a bit of power or they potentially lose money that could be coming in. And that segment, part of that segment, was clipped and put on Bayer's social media, and it made it seem that I was talking about their situation, which I wasn't. I was talking in general. I wasn't talking about their situation. I was talking in general. So I just want to clarify this before people start saying to me, oh, what about the Bayer thing? And I'm not going to bring up the whole Bayer thing again on screen. You could just go to their social media, or you can go to our social media, X, at This Is Mappa, and see the whole thing. It's all there. So there you go. Anyway, Dimitri, you misunderstood me. I remember you made the video saying that one of the entities you collaborate with started the rumor that Rogic was training with Omonoia, and you right. Okay. So with the whole Tom Rogic situation, yeah, it was bullshit, and I did put it out there to bait people, but there was some truth in it as well. But that came out afterwards. And this is where the timeline gets mixed up. And I'm not backtracking. I'm just telling you how it is. At the time, and here's how it happened. One of my people, just put it that way, told me that Rogic was on Omonia's radar. But it weren't likely to happen. But I thought, you know what? Let me do an experiment. Because what appears to happen is when you put out a post on social media, especially on X or Instagram, about a potential signing, especially with Omonoia, a lot of the websites jump on it because it gives them clickbait, and more often than not, they don't even credit the source, right? And I was doing an experiment at the time on No Choftes, which is the podcast, to say this is what happens. It was a social experiment, and I knew the deal weren't going to happen, as Dimitri quite rightly said. But what then happened afterwards, when it all blew up on social media, I got a call from another contact that said, Stel, how do you know about this? I said, what do you mean? They're talking to him. This is wild. This is wild. So, it is what it is. But the whole Goldson thing, I was extra careful with it for various reasons. And the one main reason is that Rangers are a huge club. And I know that their social media traction is massive. I didn't do it for clickbait. If I was going to do it for clickbait, I wouldn't put my face behind this camera, right? Because I am putting myself out there by talking about this. And I'm opening myself up to any abuse if it doesn't happen, right? So I'm putting my neck on the line for this. But I'm confident it's going to happen. And the only reason it wouldn't happen is for the player would fail the medical. That's it. That's the only reason it wouldn't happen. Now, I know the player has got, well, should I say, I've been told, I haven't checked into this, to be honest. I've been told that the player has had heart issues in the past, all right? So if he fails a medical, it could be because of that. But the only way it won't happen is if he fails a medical. That's it. So I'm saying it with chest. That I'm confident that the deal is going to happen. And I'm confident it's going to happen by the end of the week. And to be honest, if you follow our Instagram account, our Twitter account, I put up a post yesterday from Costa, the head of the press office at Aris. During a press conference, he said they're looking for a central defender. They're not going to mention any names. Something's happening. Something's clearly happening. So again, it's a gamble. Of course it's a gamble for me to put out this story. Of course. 130,000 views. Making the press in various websites. Various fan podcasts talking about it. Quoting, This Is Mappa. The reputation of This Is Mappa is on the line by me doing this. But it's a story. It's news. And if it happens, Put it this way. Imagine the deal happens and I knew about it all along, right? How stupid would I feel when I could have been part of this? Could have boosted the numbers. It's a numbers game. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. How do you think all these other big podcasters like your Goldbridge and your Howsons and AFTV, it's all clickbait. But this has got credibility. Them not so much. But anyway, so there you go. Bravo, this is what I remember you threw out and just got... Well, exactly, bro, more. And I apologize if it seemed that I was having a go at you. I wasn't, honestly. I was just getting a little bit wound up because it's happened before where I've released stories. I'll give you another one. It was... which player was it? Which player was it? It's gone out of my head now. No, I've forgotten his name. One minute. It was a Serbian central defender that was playing in Spain. I forget his name now. Mitrovic. That's the one. Mitrovic, last season. I put out a story that he was in talks with Omonoia and it blew up. And people were shitting on me saying, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Now, the tweet, I need to find it. The person that told me about Omonoia's interests was sat at a restaurant with the player's agent while he was on the phone to Omonoia. And he said to me, you can put this out if you want. This player is talking to Omonoia. The agent is talking to Omonoia. And I put it out there. And it blew up. It ended up on all the websites in Cyprus, all the sports websites, this and that. And the deal didn't happen. And it blew up in my face. And people said, you're lying, you're clickbait, you're this and that. Now, at the time, I didn't feel like I had to justify myself. I couldn't be bothered, to be honest. And even if I told them the truth, they wouldn't believe it. They'll be like, you're lying. But that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. You remember it, yeah? That's exactly what happened. And I'm not ashamed to tell the story because the person that was there said it's fine to do it. So there you go. And this is how it works. Yeah, this is how it works. But there's a lot of journalists in Cyprus that either have an in with the clubs and they get the information, or they know some players, or they know some of the agents, some of the gatekeepers. There's one club that I even forgot to talk about, and that's Apollon. I forgot to mention Apollon. I'm sorry, Apollon fans. Last week they announced the signing of a player called Axel Yuri, and then the day later they said the deal's been cancelled because he failed his medical. Go figure. That's it. Anyway, I don't have anything else to talk about. I haven't seen anything else online. Let me just quickly go on one of the sports websites and see what they've got right now. A Serbian central defender called Bojan Mladovic has joined or has agreed a deal with Anorthosis in principle. There you go, breaking news. So Anorthosis fans, there you go. Something else to be happy about. Another player's come in. Happy days. I told you things will be all right, didn't I? Anyway, I've done 43 minutes. Boys and girls, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to visit our website, www.nc-network.com. Visit our Instagram and our X or Twitter at This Is Mappa. I apologize again, number one, for my pronunciation of some words or some names or slipping up. I've got a bit of a script ahead of me because I'm doing this on my own. So I had to go by that. And I can't get words out these days. I don't know what's going on. Maybe my brain isn't working properly. I apologize for jumping off as well, Baxter. I don't know what happened there with my technical difficulties. And I apologize to my boy here, man, Dimitri, for kind of outing you a little bit. I didn't mean it. JD, thank you, bro. Appreciate you tuning in, man. And hopefully this Goldson deal happens and I won't be left with egg on my face or deep fried egg on my face. I'm sorry. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in and hopefully we'll be back very, very soon. I was thinking about doing a watch-along. Oh, we also have a Discord. This is Mappa Discord, right? And join the Discord for a surprise. That's all I'm saying. Because moving forward this season, you're going to have some surprises on the Discord. I can't say what the surprises are. You just need to join. So I'm going to put the link in the description. at the end of this stream. So thank you, boys and girls, for tuning in, and we'll be back very soon. Bye.